Good evening, Cebu. Good evening, Philippines. I'm Mike Lopez, and it's open mic night once again. And we have a beautiful guest tonight, the very talented featured artist of Cube Gallery at Crossroads, Miss Aditi Ahuja.
That's right.
Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good.
Congratulations on the opening of your exhibit.
Thank you.
It's called Spiritual Magma.
Right.
Why is it called Spiritual Magma? It sounds so mystical.
Spiritual magma, I feel, is the name says it's that magma which, or the desire or the longingness for peace and happiness that is existent in each one of us. But in our everyday life and routines, busy work schedules, we tend to forget it. And so that for that reason, I want to revive that feeling in everyone, to remind them that yes, we all have the same desire. So recognize your own path, choose your own path of spirituality or howsoever, to develop your compassion, wisdom, courage, and do the right thing in life. Then there's nothing that is unachievable, whether it is a desire or of peace and happiness, or it is any desire in your life that you want to become.
Does it mean that you're a deeply spiritual person?
I am. I believe in myself, and I believe that we all have the power to develop ourselves to...
Which is very Buddhist.
Yes.
Yeah. But you are Hindu.
I am a Hindu.
A practicing Hindu.
Yes.
And you merge, so it's like
I'm a staunch follower of a Buddhist philosophy.
And it's reflective, your work is reflective of this
That's right.
deep faith
Yes.
in these two schools of thought, no?
Right.
So your work is basically, it's anchored on Hindu philosophies.
It is not
and
related
elements. A lot of it, no?
It is. It is more on spiritual elements rather than relating it to any particular religion.
Okay.
But yes, the beliefs do originate from these two religions. Yeah, because I'm born and brought up in India.
Yes.
So of course I have that influence of the Hindu religion. But recently, since last few years, I've been reading a lot about the Buddhist philosophy. So that has also influenced my personality, and the artworks are a reflection of my personality.
We'll show you some of Aditi's or Adi's works, that are on display at Cube, but let's get to know her more. So you're married with 2 children,
Right.
and you've been based in the Philippines for the last
6 years now.
6 years,
Yeah.
and you actually lived in Cebu for
I was here for 1.5 years.
1.5 of those 6 years.
Yes.
And but is there any influence that in the past 6 years? You said so yourself that you were inspired to revisit your love for art when you moved to the Philippines.
Right, absolutely. So when I came here, as everyone knows that Philippines is an art hub.
Yes.
I felt I've come here because I believe the universe has signals for us, and I felt that it's time for me to explore some art over here, do some exchange, learn something from Philippines, and give something to Philippines. So basically, giving my style to Philippines.
When you moved here, you lived in Cebu first?
No, we were in Manila. We moved to Manila for 3 years. We were there in Manila.
And
then for 1.5 years we came here.
But immediately after you moved to the Philippines, you started dabbling
into art. Yeah, about in a few months. Once I was settled, I said, let me just get back to my canvas and paints.
But back in India, you were
I was not into
school
art
teacher.
at that time. Yeah.
You were a school teacher, but you've always loved art,
Yes.
and you've always known that you can draw.
Yes.
But it took a while before you.
It's the time. And I had
Would you
never
say
thought
you're a
it.
late bloomer?
That's right. And but and I had never thought that I'll really take up art as a serious profession.
Yes.
But when I came here, and started exploring art. That was the time when I realized that maybe I can explore it in the commercial market as well.
But I don't think you've tried being a, like they say, there's this cliche, the struggling or the starving artist,
Yes,
Luckily,
luckily I have not been
your
like that.
husband is a very successful executive in the shipping industry.
Yes.
Am I correct? Yes.
That's right.
So you didn't have to.
I didn't have to, so that was a blessing in disguise because I was freely exploring my my journey.
But don't you think that's part? Don't you feel that you're missing out on one important part of an artist's journey, which is the struggle?
No, I have struggled in a different way. I have struggled with learning, with self-learning, because I did not get any formal training. So all the art that is there right now is all through self-learning.
So self-learning.
Yeah.
And did you
so
ever?
That's the struggle that I have gone through.
Do you ever think of the work that you've churned out, your creation, so that like a lot of the most successful artists in the history of the world, no, in art history, most of them, their works were appreciated long after they were gone, no? That long after they passed.
That's true.
So do you ever think of that maybe you will not get the approval or the admiration of the world, of people till after?
I don't have those fears.
You just want to create.
I just want to create. I know that whatever painting I create, it's a part of me, and the positive part of me. There is nothing negative about my paintings. So I have the faith that the right person will connect someday with each one of the pieces and will.
It's very nice. What was your when you had that aha moment? You want to be an artist. What was that moment all about? Can you tell us?
So it was like. I tried out my first canvas that was based on the 5 elements of life. Which are earth, fire, water, the normal elements of life.
I thought there's a different Indian.
No. It's the same. It's very universal.
Well, because you have the chakras and all.
No. So it's
the universal elements.
It's the universal elements.
So you started with that.
I started with that. So when I did that, of course, my friends, everyone were very supportive. They said, "Why don't you do some more?" And once.
What was your first work? What was the title?
5 elements.
That's the title.
That's the title.
And was it abstract?
It was an abstract, not realism.
The medium that you used was.
And the medium was oils, canvas with with a few other materials.
I took up fine arts in college, but I majored in advertising, so it's really the commercial side of it. It's just using the tools and the principles of art so that you're able to showcase visually what you want to sell. No? I mean,
right.
The message you want to convey to the consumers. But it was not very easy to transition because as kids, the first medium is always the pencil or the colored pencil and the watercolor. Right. Watercolor is actually quite difficult to
I find it
manipulate.
the most difficult.
Yeah, because it's so. It's not like oil or acrylic, for example. It's thicker.
Yeah.
This one is very thin, so it's very difficult to manipulate. But those are the first medium, no? That we're accustomed
as
to
a child,
as children. Crayons.
Yes. That's right.
That was your first, and then all of a sudden you're into oil. But that wasn't the first time you used oil.
No, that was not the first time I used oil. In my college days, I had done a few paintings in oil, pencil colors.
Okay.
And I have actually grown in artwork throughout my college younger years. So schooling and college was the time when I really explored art in with different mediums. Yeah. So I've done a lot of sketching, pencil colors, watercolors also. Not charcoal. Charcoal was not that prevalent at that time in India. And only the academies used to do a lot of charcoal sketching.
I remember my first nude portrait was an actual nude person was in front of us. We used charcoal.
That's how the academies actually.
It's so distracting. I have to admit, wasn't very mature then. Still not mature now.
Not for the age of training, yeah.
Anyway, so but I noticed this exposure to different media, different mediums, is reflective of your work now, because most is mixed media, right?
Yes. So
most
of it is mixed media, and I like to explore different mediums. Do not want to restrict myself with one style or one particular medium of art.
And then you have this very unique element, which is the gold leaf.
Yes.
And not so many artists use that.
Yeah.
How did you learn that? Because that's not something
That, of course,
that's a skill,
yes,
right?
it's a traditional skill in India, and which is called Tanjore. It's a particular style of art, which is done on, which is traditionally done on Indian gods and goddesses.
Yeah.
But
like the icons.
The icons, yeah.
Like
so
in the
traditionally
like in
it was
church
only,
also in Catholic, in Christian church, it's
that's
the same.
right. So I wanted to use that medium and use it in a more contemporary style to convey my style of art, rather than limiting it to gods and goddesses.
Yeah.
I believe it's important to be more universal.
Plus, your main theme as an artist of believing yourself
Yes.
in your capabilities and the God force within, it makes perfect sense.
That's right.
That the soul, your version of the soul in your artwork is guilt. You know, like I saw in one of your pieces, Nirvana, for example,
Yes.
it's heavily guilt and gilded or guilt,
Yes.
and so it makes sense.
Yeah, so
because
it's the shine of the soul, that when the soul shines brightly.
it's a God force.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So it's all inside us, inside as well as outside. So once we start believing in ourselves, we see the support from the universe.
I envy that skill because I designed a chandelier.
Okay.
And because we have a workshop in our house, so we're able to make for our own furniture. So I designed this is made of metal, fabricated the metal. It's like a star.
Okay.
So if you look from underneath, it looks like a six-pointed star.
Wow.
And I'll show you the picture, but later in private. And then, but I had someone in Lapu-Lapu City. I had someone do gold leaf on it.
Okay.
So it has a very antique,
Rustic look.
rustic look. But it's very church. It's not like yours because yours is very thick and very. That's texture.
Yeah,
huh?
that's right. Embossing. You
and
basically call it embossing.
Embossing.
Yeah.
I think it's about time to pause for a break. When we come back, we'll see some of Adi's works that are on display at Cube Gallery. We'll be right back. We're back here in Open Mic with Adi Ahuja. And so we promised before the break that we'll show you some of her works, no? which are on display at Cube Gallery at the Crossroads. This is Aurora.
Right.
Yeah, I saw this last night, and Can you tell us about Aurora? There's two, no?
That's two, a series of 1 and 2.
It's a series of 1 and 2. What's the difference between the first and the second?
The first and the second, they actually are on the same theme. That's of Aurora. That is the
Light.
sunrise, dawn.
Yeah.
And it's the dawn on the beginning of anything that we call new, as in whether it is ourselves, that every moment is a fresh start.
A fresh
Whenever
start.
we want, we can really.
Positive.
Yeah, I'm positive.
It's Zac
So
Efron,
not getting-
the
not
start of
getting-
something new.
So you don't get those negativities in the form of fear when you're starting something, or any situation that you deal with. You don't regret or keep on feeling guilty. Fine,
Yeah,
it's
but-
gone wrong, so okay, I'm going to rectify it.
It's nice because it's a very positive way of presenting change.
Yes,
And people are often afraid of change.
that's true.
But we shouldn't be because it
No,
represents a new beginning.
It's a new beginning. That change is needed in life, and that's why that situation has come.
A new day represents a new chance,
beginning, yeah,
a new chance
a new opportunity.
to better life. So it's a series.
Yes.
There's two, no? And what about celebration? It looks very Christmassy.
It's actually, yeah. The celebration talks about celebrating life.
And there are
because
two
I believe
peacocks, right? Are those peacocks?
It's actually need to be rotated a little bit.
Okay. It's like this.
Yeah.
And then
So this calls for celebration, celebrating life, celebrating festivity.
yeah.
Yeah, and I believe that if we look at and we have a positive and optimistic attitude in life, we can always celebrate it.
And then consonants, which is also a series,
Yes.
right? In the first of the series, Gavin Bagaris, our friend Gavin Bagaris, social chronicler par excellence, and you know, he and I had the same observation. We thought it was like if it's a
Filipino flag.
Philippine flag, but it's
I
not.
never realized it while making, but then yes, I'm here in Philippines. Maybe the gratitude and the
Maybe subconsciously.
Subconsciously it was there, and that's how it came out.
Because of the colors.
Because I feel I've
red and
discovered-
like red and blue.
Yeah.
And the white, no,
The white coming in there as in the form of triangle. That's the earthy element.
But discuss this series. Why is it called Consonance?
Consonance is the connection between us and the environment. So I feel that the environment is in our own hands. It's in our own. We can control it through our own beliefs, basically.
Yeah.
So the consonance means aligning our lives with the environment and with the outer world.
Are you an environmentalist?
I'm not an environmentalist, but yes, I believe that we all can contribute in our own ways.
Yeah. So this is Consonance. It's a series of 4. It's actually 4, right?
That's right.
4 paintings. And then this is one of my favorites.
That's Elan Vital.
Elan Vito. And this is, it has the chakras, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
And you said last night that this has something to do with the movement of the universe.
Movement of life in the
In
universe.
the
because-
movement of life in the universe.
Yeah, that's true.
So can you expound more? And where do the chakras come in?
Chakras come in on the. It describes the states of our beings when we are born. So the people who want to, who are, the crown chakra is the highest form of
Yeah, the one with the gold,
life. Yeah.
no? Gold
that's
and
the one highlighted. with
and the
gold,
gems,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we are all. Life is always present in the universe, and it keeps flowing in the form in different forms of and states of life. So that is a representation for this particular painting.
And it's also a series. You love you love.
I like to make sets of different concepts because my if I'm in the right flow, then the ideas keep pouring in and that don't fit one canvas. So then it ends up in different.
Yeah, but so when art collectors, aficionados, when they buy a piece, if it's a series, it has to be the 3. Or it
Not
can,
necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Whatever you connect with, I feel that you can really go in for that. But it's better. It looks better as a set if you have space and that ambience.
That's
You can
right.
always pick up a set.
Or you can actually give to people you feel some sort of connection with,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
You have one piece and your
The
friend,
other one
your
you give to-
sister, your brother,
Yes,
for example,
that's-
has another piece in their home.
Absolutely,
It's
yeah.
very nice. It connects.
Right.
It connects you. This one is emblazoned,
Emblazoned.
and it's also one that's very intricate
Yes.
and
It mainly has Indian patterns.
Indian. It's generally Indian.
Yes, it's
a
got
peacock, right?
influence, yeah,
Yeah.
with
you-
intricate Indian patterns.
Yeah, but what was your inspiration for this, and what were you thinking when you came up with the design?
I was thinking that a peacock is reflective of dancing when the first rain happens. So that's the reason why the peacock spreads its wings and dances. So that's
first rain?
On the first rain, when in India the
really?
belief is that the peacocks open up their feathers in celebration of the first rain of the season.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's.
I thought it was a mating thing. Because the peacocks are the males,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The peahens, they don't have that beautiful pattern.
Right, that's true. So it's.
It's actually very gay, in a very positive way.
Uh-huh.
So Gavin is here. Come on, Gavin.
Okay.
So that's emblazoned, and you call it emblazoned because of the patterns.
Patterns.
Emblazoned
Yes,
on-
emblazoned.
on-
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the- on
Yes,
the-
that's right.
What-
So it's decorating your life, emblazoning your spirit, and
Your perspective is always very colorful and very positive.
Yes.
When you see bloodshed, violence in the media, don't you feel inspired to capture at least, because sadness, anger, though negative, they are valid human emotions.
It is.
And that's
It
really
is
part
needed.
of who I
It-
are.
it is a part of-
Grief, loss. Yeah.
There is. It is a part of the art.
Yeah.
Because without sadness, we won't realize what happiness is.
Yeah, but so far, what I feel is it's really all positive.
Yeah, that's right. Because
Do you make a conscious effort to just focus on the positive?
I do that.
Yeah, but isn't it kind of escapist that you focus on the positive, but like the yin and the yang, they
Yeah.
come together, right?
It's not escapism.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I'll describe that actually. The positive thought is to accomplish various things in life, as in sufferings will always be there, as in we will keep on getting problems in our life and from our environment. Stimulants are always there, but it is the positive faith inside us that can lead us to dealing with them in a positive way, because by thinking negative we will never be able to sort it out.
So it's the beautiful things in life, the positive things
Yeah,
in
so
life that
the
help
more-
us weather each and every storm that comes our way.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then of course, as the secret says, talks about the good old secret book. It talks about the law of attraction. So the more positive and optimistic you
Is it
are,
Rhonda Burr or something?
yeah. So the more positive you are, you will attract more positive things in your life.
So it's not necessarily escapist.
No,
It
not at
acknowledges that there is negativity and there
Yes.
is sadness and
Yes.
grief and loss,
Yes.
but that
But in that
You
grief
wanna
and loss also, we still have hope and
There-
opportunity.
the
to,
silver lining.
Yes,
There's always a
silver lining to every.
Yes. And then this one, well, you were let's talk about this is
Windmill,
the
the
windmill.
the Dutch windmill.
Yes. And you before we started, you were sharing that this is one of your realist
Yes, realist paintings,
and then it's inspired by
A real-time Dutch mill.
You were actually there,
I went there, yeah.
and then you were painting it.
I clicked a picture. Of
Picture.
course, I didn't want to start working in my trip, of course, which is the
Yeah.
pleasure trip for me.
Yeah,
And
it's in Holland.
It's in Holland. Yeah.
Okay, and why did you choose this? Because this looks kind of different from most of your paintings,
Yeah.
and it's very European.
As you know, I like to try different styles.
Yes.
So this was something that was very close to my heart, because it resonates with my feelings of reviving ourselves and regenerating ourselves. We all have the capability to do that. So the potential is there. So the windmill is creating sustainable energy.
Yes, and you liked
And
it
it's one of the
because
oldest windmills in Amsterdam.
one of the oldest.
Yeah.
Like how old is it?
It's about 1918. Yeah, I think 1918.
1918.
It was
And then
established.
you said you like it because it has withstood the test of time.
Test of time,
and it has been a witness to
Yes.
World War II.
Yes.
Yeah,
And still it's running.
that's why I'm very
Yeah.
passionate about our trees here in Cebu, the trees that line Osmeña Boulevard, because not only do they provide shade,
Right.
not only are they beautiful, and not only do they provide ecological balance and oxygen, and a place for birds to live and other animals to live, but they've also witnessed
Difficult times of
not just the difficult times, but also milestones in Cebu's history.
True.
So I understand what you mean.
You're right.
So maybe you can paint our trees.
Definitely, and I feel very connected to nature. And,
Speaking of nature, you have
there I have another one.
you call it love.
Yes.
It's a series also,
of two. Yeah.
and these
Set
are
of
flowers.
Yes.
The other one is a sunflower, and the other one is, what is it? An orchid? What is it?
It's a mixed one of orchid and hibiscus actually. It's a variety of hibiscus.
Hibiscus is like gumamela.
Gomamela, but it doesn't have the long thing
Yeah.
in between. So yeah.
We use that. We used to use gumamela, and mix it with water and some soap, and that's what we use to make bubble.
Oh right,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. As kids, all of us do that. Yeah.
You also use gumamela.
Not gomamela, but yeah, different other mediums to make that bubble and yeah,
Okay.
natural ways of.
So let's talk about love.
Yeah.
Why these flowers? Before we
Love-
pause for a break.
Okay, so love is very important in life, I feel, and love for nature, love for our environment. That's the message that these two paintings give, and I feel very connected personally to nature. I cannot live in a house where there is no greenery.
The same here.
Yeah, so it's like the connectivity with our nature and environment. I have a strong connection. So I just love to paint flowers, trees, nature, landscapes.
More about art when we return here on Open Mic with Adi Ahuja.
Yeah.
We're back here at Open Mic with Adi Ahuja. We're on our last gap, but before we proceed with some of the other works on display at Cube, we have a question from Gavin Bagaras of Cebu Daily News and Inquirer Publications, he's in our audience. The very insightful and intelligent Gavin Bagaras is wondering if you consciously incorporate your culture into your works. Because he has been a fan since last year's Diwali at the Marco Polo Plaza.
That's right, but Diwali was the need, and that's why at that time I incorporated the culture into my artworks.
Okay.
And for now, it is more of my personality, my art. Since it's my first solo exhibition, I wanted to really reflect what I feel inside, my beliefs, and bring it out and give the beautiful message to the society through my artworks.
And part of your personality, of course, is your culture.
Of course.
Yeah.
It has an influence on my personality. I've been born and brought up in India.
Yeah. I wonder about that, because if you, like for example, in the case of Diwali, you admitted to consciously focusing on the culture since it was the need.
Yes.
But is there protocol to be considered there, since it's you're talking about gods and deities?
We do consciously believe and follow the traditions of India.
Yeah, but are there rules, nuances to be considered? Because, for example, if
there are certain rules that need to be followed while celebrations are going on, and that comes from thousands of years back. They have been followed by generations after generations. So
I ask because sometimes artists or architects, for example, like here in Cebu, the Pedro Calungsod Chapel or church, the SRP, I hear that it's beautiful. It's beautiful work, but in terms of there are certain protocols to worship in the Catholic Church, and I hear it doesn't really completely adhere to these things. So now people are more conscious, artists, architects, interior designers probably are more conscious that there are certain things to be considered in terms of culture. So I was wondering, in the case of the Diwali.
Yes, there are various traditions and rituals which we constantly follow year after year. And
because you don't want to be offending people.
It's not about offending people,
traditions.
It's about not forgetting our roots, where we belong to, and passing it on to our future generations. I have children, I would like to pass on my traditions to them. It's their decision whether to take it up. I would like to follow the traditions, but their beliefs are totally dependent on them, how they want to really go about it.
Let's talk about two more pieces, or well, two more sets. We can't be talking about all of it.
Them, that's quite
they have to go, to Cube themselves, so that they can see for themselves your masterpieces. This is one of my favorites, the Nirvana.
Thank you.
I actually posed in front of
for a selfie.
I can't tell which I prefer. The blue is very peaceful, but the one that's surrounded with fire is also so alive. So I can't really say which one I prefer. So it really has to come together, no?
It does.
Can you tell us more about these two? The spirit is gilt, no? These are gold leaf.
Those are embossed.
Yeah,
they are
embossed.
to give a more lively and standing out effect.
The blue one. Let's talk about the blue one.
Okay. So the blue one is like, both are actually reflecting the enlightened souls of our lives, our enlightened lives, which are already, the positivity is inherent in our lives, but we need to recognize and harness that. Like as they say, whatever you feed, that's what you comes out from you. So these two are actually reflective of the fact that positivity is there inside all of us. We need to make our life states enlightened in order to
but how are they different? Because they're complementary, but that's why they're different, no? They complement each other, but they're very different.
But they're different because whether the circumstances are different, whether they are peaceful or they are turbulent, the soul still has the same potential.
But the fire, I don't even see it as turbulence. I see it as just bursting with life, which is a good thing.
That's the positivity in you. That can only perceive the right thing in the paintings.
So if I was a negative person, I'd say that it's.
Say that, yeah.
It's suffering.
Yeah, your perception is a reflection of your inner self.
So
how you perceive things.
There, you got me. I'm very positive, ultra positive.
Yeah.
Even fire is good. No, it's bursting. It's like the phoenix. I was saying.
It's actually the rising phoenix. Yeah. Rising phoenix. The whole message is that even in the midst of problems and the phoenix
there is rebirth.
Rise. Yeah,
there is rebirth. Or sometimes the phoenix bursts into flames so that it can rise from the ashes.
Yes, that's right.
So,
rising from the ashes is also a state of
renewal
and
dawn.
Nirvana.
Yeah, and just like the first piece we talked about.
Right.
But this is my favorite.
Okay.
My ultimate favorite.
It goes with your personality.
Oh, thank you. And this is also your favorite, right?
It is. It is my favorite as well.
It's a centerpiece of
the star attraction of the gallery.
Yes, and it's the biggest piece, is it?
Yes, it is.
But it's solo. It's just one. It's not a series.
One.
It's called Majestic.
Yeah. Precious Zenge.
I'm sorry?
Zenge.
That's the name?
Yep.
It's not. Oh, okay, but it says
maybe it's a different picture. Yeah.
Okay, Zenge, the majestic koi. No.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful. It's very attractive. You first look at the koi, the pear, which is in Chinese culture. It represents prosperity and luck and wealth.
Good luck, happiness, wealth, and prosperity. Yeah.
I think even health. No.
Yes.
And the blue that surrounds it. It's like a life force.
It is.
No?
So the circle of blue is a circle of life.
So
it
really
very
is
holistic,
the life force. Yeah. And it appeals, it's like an orb, and then it's surrounded by all these intricate patterns, which are Persian
patterns, yeah.
And I say that this is my favorite because the Persian patterns, the colors like teal and Tiffany blue.
Yes, your favorite.
My favorites, and this is my room.
That's what I'm saying. This is made for you.
It's made for me because my room is a stripe of the same color pattern.
That's right.
And you saw it. It's exactly the same.
Me,
So this is my favorite. But of course, they have to see it for themselves. No? So we can't be showing more of your works.
Let's keep it a little hidden as well.
Yes, we have the element of surprise.
Surprise should be there.
But before we wrap up, can you tell us about your thought process, your creative process? Some artists, they have an end in mind, like a finished product in mind, and they work, to realize it. Some, they just go with the flow and see how it goes. So what kind of artist are you?
I'm more on the, I would call myself as an explorative artist. That if I have a concept and a thought in my mind, I would rather explore different mediums, how that thought can be portrayed in a very pleasant manner, and which can reflect my my thoughts and my feelings.
So it's not a fixed process.
So I go with the flow. If it pleases me, if it connects with me, then I go ahead with it. Otherwise, I change it and redo it.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite artist? Who do you look up to?
I look up to the masters of art.
Who in particular?
Van Gogh, Isaac.
But Van Gogh is quite negative. It's quite sad.
Yes.
Melancholic.
But I like his style. I like his style because of the textures that he gives. Yeah.
So that's Van Gogh and.
Van Gogh. Then I like Isaac Israel. I've made a recent painting of one of his paintings, and then of course
the Italian masters. What about them? Not so much. The Michelangelo, Da Vinci.
I'm not into portraits as such, so yeah.
So you're not a fan of the Gauguins and the.
No, so I like more of the nature-oriented and the landscapes.
Pizarro, nothing.
No.
Picasso,
yeah, to some extent.
Yeah.
But yes, I would really like to explore their works, study them, and learn through them.
Because I asked about Picasso because you have very powerful abstractions.
Yes.
Although sometimes Picasso is too abstract. yours are abstractions with elements that feel very
Right,
real.
yeah, real.
Very
So
detailed.
I do call myself as a realism, belonging to the realism
Ah,
class.
you classify as.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Gavin Bagares here was there last night, but I didn't catch him. He has been a fan since last year.
Last year, yeah.
I say-
And a good friend as well.
And he says he couldn't be absent. That's why he's here.
Good, I'm happy, yeah.
He's also an artist, but you are a visual artist. Gavin, I have not seen any paintings of his, but I know he's a writer, so he's an artist.
Yes, definitely.
Will you ever consider spilling over to other? You're mixed media in terms of visual arts,
Right.
but are you into literature? Do you write?
Any other form of art,
Do you
mean?
sing? Do you are you a musician? I mean, are you into music? Do you perform? Do you?
I like to sing,
Oh,
but I
really?
would not call myself a singer or very good at it. But yes, music is I'm very close
Dance.
to music, and I love dancing.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
Contemporary or Indian?
Contemporary Bollywood dance.
Oh.
I love it. It's like me, totally.
Like doing like, oh, how does the move? I cannot
Not
even-
here, not here.
the head movement.
No, that's traditional classical Indian dancing, the head movement and all, yeah. But the Bollywood contemporary dancing is very modern. Yeah.
But it has some of the head movement.
Some of
right?
that, yeah.
What about the Western dance, ballet, for example, or
I love
Pop.
hip hop and Zumba, so I love to do that as well.
but you're very connected to your Indian culture.
I do, yeah.
But do you have any Western influence? Do you watch like the rest of us mere mortals who are fans of Hollywood and
I do watch Hollywood movies, but thanks to my children, lately I have not really got an opportunity. The only ones that I watch whenever we go out are the ones that belong to the PG.
RPG?
What to do?
Good,
Yeah.
good.
So whenever I get time, I try to grab my Bollywood.
Bollywood.
Yeah.
So, but you prefer Bollywood over Hollywood?
Yeah, of course, because yes, I would say that. Yeah.
Would you ever star? Because you're very beautiful. Would you
Thank
ever
you.
star in a Bollywood film?
If I get an opportunity, why not?
You would.
I would.
You would act.
I don't know how good would that be, but then yeah, let's see. There's no harm in exploring.
And you have a very handsome husband. And some of your friends, Filipino friends, say that he looks like John Lloyd.
John Lloyd, yeah,
John
they do
Lloyd
say
Cruz.
that, but I was, yeah, it's, I don't know how far.
But you know John Lloyd
I know, I've seen him.
in person.
Not
No.
in person, and of course in the media.
Do you agree?
To some extent, yes.
Have you seen any of his movies?
Not yet. I've seen trailers and clippings actually, yeah.
The very popular one is One More Chance.
One more chance. I'll
You
go
should-
back
you
and
should
definitely
watch.
watch. And then I'll keep in touch for some more recommendations.
There's gonna be a sequel. I hear there's gonna be a sequel.
Yeah?
So I don't know if it's gonna spoil. You know how sequels
It
are.
does, yeah. The initial original effect doesn't remain, yeah.
But Star Wars, it doesn't matter. They can have
That
as
can-
many sequels as, as
They
possible.
have a fan client for them already waiting, yeah.
Are you a fan?
Of Star Wars?
Yeah. No.
No.
But your works are very cosmic,
Yeah.
and I was
But I like science fiction, so
science fiction. Which is your favorite? Star Trek.
not those, but then yeah, something that goes beyond realities, something like that. Like I would say, I would really name the kiddie movies, the PG, the Spider-Man, and what was that movie called?
Superman or-
No, the something with the Titans,
Clash of the
Clash
Titans?
of the Titans and all.
But that's
yeah.
not really science fiction.
It's not science fiction, but
It's
I'm saying
mythology,
something beyond
yeah.
beyond.
So I asked about this because your influences are, you know, they're very reflective of your culture.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if at some point we can expect an exhibit that has an underlying theme that's inspired by pop culture, the more global pop culture.
You never know. I don't mind doing that as long as it connects with me and my thoughts.
Like Superman with peacock feathers.
That's a little more than me, actually.
Maybe that's
But
me.
yeah. That's your imagination, I guess.
Anyway, that's all we have for now. I'd like you to have, this is your chance to invite everyone to your one-woman exhibit at the Cube. Please invite everyone.
Thank you. I would really encourage all of you to go and have a look at the paintings and appreciate them, and hope that you feel a connection with the paintings, because that the paintings reflect and my artwork reflect my personality and myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Adita. Aditi.
Aditi.
But if you're Filipino, Adita.
Adi, not Adita.
Thank you, Adi. So that's her pieces are at Cube Gallery at the Crossroads, and it's called Spiritual Magma, and it runs until November the 14th.
14th, yes.
So that's all we have for Open Mic tonight. Until next week, this has been Mike Lopez. Good night and Godspeed.